Oh, now it's working. For... Is it working? I can see the bars moving. I don't know if anybody can hear us. Okay, mine is working. Let's see if Kevin's audio is working. I have to activate properties. So, check. Kevin, can you hear me? I can hear you. I do not know if the viewers can actually hear you. That is really, really weird. So, OBS wants to be tricky tonight. I see there is some people currently watching us, so I'm gonna ask you a very specific question. Hey people, can you hear us? Please let me know. Thank you. Because my mic seemed to be working and your audio seemed to be intermittently working. I don't know why. No, but... Oh, but that's weird because... Like, I can hear you perfectly and the bars barely move, but... We'll see how that goes. Worst case scenario, we'll figure out something. Catch up. I'll send a message to the Chancelier who is actually watching. So, and this is why when you want some professional streaming, you just go to GSP. Sorry, what? I didn't hear. Okay, and as I always say, we provide bad quality streaming but high quality entertainment. So, let me just re-add a new source. Maybe it's just easier. I'm just wondering, like, all the poor people. There we go. Okay, possibly you should be okay now. Oh, okay. That should be better. That should be better. That should be better. Okay. Okay, we're finally on check. So, we got 2 Rebels squad. Would you like to go through one of them? Which one are you picking? Your own Pierre Lopes, possibly?
He's chosen to put Lone Wolf, so he gets that reroll once a turn. Kanan Jarrus, which gives him the force charge, and when he does a white move, he can remove a stress token. And Outrider, which does lots of nasty things, especially removing red tokens when he goes over debris. And of course, Dash himself ignores obstacles, so he actually wants to be playing in and around the obstacle field. That's what he does. And his companion this turn, he often plays 2 ship lists, and he's chosen to go with Luke Skywalker in the T-65 X-Wing with proton torpedoes, so he can take a lock and then be double modded with his force tokens and afterburners, which gives him that boost, that nice boost twice a game where it doesn't take up an action. So he can do lots of good stuff here. what we often find with Pierre is he will switch in and out with the ships. So he will tease with one ship, run away, and then come in with the other one, run away, and then come back in with the other one. That's generally his style of play, and he'll want to be playing in and around the debris field. That's his game plan, and try and take shots at range 3 with that 4 dice dash. That should be his game plan today.
Well, it's pretty interesting that Pierre decided to bring a 2-ship archetype, as recently we haven't seen like so many of them, especially in the Rebels department. And I find it extremely interesting that he chose both Dash Render, who was a ship that maybe up to, say, 6 months ago was considered dead on arrival, together with Luke Skywalker, that we haven't seen in quite a long time, as Wedge, and recently some lower initiative pilots are much, much more present in the metagame. So kudos to your team for choosing this. And
it's not our team that chose it, it's Pierre himself who chose it.
Oh yeah, but as captain...
I think that the surprising thing with Dash is it doesn't have Bistan, which is usually the choice when Dash is played for that double tap. Pierre actually doesn't like using Bistan. He prefers to have no Bistan for the extra points.
Cool. So, Le Chancelier confirmed that the audio is now fine. The issue was a audio source that needed to be deleted and recreated. Therefore, we lost the introduction. I'll just go quickly over it. I suck at X-Wing. Kevin is here to say something intelligent about the game, and he just ran over. He just described his team, Rebel Squad. I'll take the chance to go through Alexander's squad. You might know him as Sandrem, and he's the guy who gifted us the fantastic marvel that is Fly Casual, the single and multiplayer independently run X-Wing simulation, available on GitHub for free download. You can use it on Windows, Mac, and if I remember correctly, also on Android phones. Thank you, Sandrem, for letting me train against a computer. Yeah, he's running a Swarm plus support archetype for his Rebel Squad. He's sporting 4 Blue Squadron escorts that should be the PS2, if I remember properly. Let's have a look. Yes, Initiative 2 T-70 pilots, together with Heftober on a U-Wing. Also him is Initiative 2, and he has Intimidation, so he gets really menacing when he touches other ships, Zeb Aurelius, so he can still attack when he touches another ship, and obviously the Pivo wing configuration. It might seem like a bread and butter squad for the Rebels, but it can be really intimidating. Yes, I just made a reference to the card. Yay! So, taking away your bias as South Africa captain, where is your money, also according to your pairing strategy?
So we actually had this down as a bad matchup, to be honest, purely because of the outputs of Sandrem's list. It's got so many 3 red dice that if Pierre makes one bad move, it's game over. Fortunately, Pierre has been really good in the last few weeks at range control. But at the end of the day, he's going to struggle to only have 1 or 2 of these ships at range 3 at any one point in time. And therefore, he is relying a little bit on dice. And there's always that option where do you turn in hard and try and get around the outside of the arcs of the swarm, or do you go long and wide? That can often be a 50-50 choice, and if you make the wrong choice, you lose Dash or you lose Luke, and it's pretty much game over for Pierre. So that's why we put it down as a dodgy matchup. We're hoping he pulls through, but we'll see what happens.
Yep. I think it's a very interesting matchup because both archetypes are really... I can't maybe say novel because they remind of other archetypes we've already seen, but I think they are both good curveballs thrown at the other teams, because maybe not everyone expects to see a X-Wing plus U-Wing Swarm or Dash plus Luke on the table. So I think it's really interesting. I gotta say, I do agree with your assessment of it not being an easy matchup. Also because of the sheer amount of red dice that Alexander can throw in one turn if he gets a proper engagement. Still, Luke Skywalker can be squishy as hell. A potential problem I see in this game for your team is the obstacles layout, because it's quite favorable for Dash, as he can go out and about and literally doesn't care about the obstacles, but Pierre has to double check the engagement tempo for Luke, because if Luke arrives one turn too late in the engagement, that's going to be a much harder match.
Yeah, and you know, it's with this many ships as Pierre's opponent as well, it's always tricky not to get put into a corner, be farmed into a corner, and then you've got no escape routes, which is also something Pierre is quite good at usually avoiding, but every now and again it does happen. So we'll see how Sandrum plays. I mean, Sandrum, if he's used to flying against fly casual, then I think he's up for a surprise. So, because fly casual, great as it is, doesn't do well. The AI isn't great for this kind of matchup, but it's great to practice against swarm lists. So if you have a list where you want to see how it does against 5 X-Wings, absolutely, fly casual, brilliant for that. But with ace play and stuff, the AI is just not that clever. I would expect it to be right.
Well, I mean, I do not dabble with artificial intelligence, but I am a tiny bit well versed with, computer science and stuff. I don't think it's easy to achieve a level of delicacy in artificial intelligence to kind of simulate an actual opponent, but seriously, the advice is really good. Fly casual is very good with numerous swarm lists. So if you fear archetypes like this one, or if you fear this lone swarm, that's a good sandbox test. Not every turn by the AI is gonna be perfect, but also not every turn by your physical opponents is gonna be perfect. So definitely give it a shot.
And when you fly against it, you put a list against 5 T-65s. The way the AI moves those ships can surprise you sometimes. It's a bit like the AI in what's that casual game that is
Hotak maybe.
Hotak, yes, absolutely. So sometimes the AI really throws you off because it doesn't do things you expect a player to do. So it can actually catch you out sometimes as well when it plays swarms. So it's always a good test for that.
Yeah, that's what surprises people the most, because if you have like an open field against any ship, you would expect maybe that ship to come straight to us, because you might think, oh yeah, like it's a basic intelligence, it's just gonna go straight and try to shoot me down. But no, Sandrum managed to integrate some sort of quite complicated decisional process that I could be inspired by X-Wing AI. I think there's also a few apps and Hotak as well. Maybe he got inspired by that. So
I think so. I wouldn't be surprised if he used a similar kind of mechanism as the Hotak intelligence. So let's just look at this game a bit. So Dash obviously was in a jousting position. He's moved around now to the other side of the board. I think he's a bit far away. Luke is obviously trying to come around the side now. Use that asteroid to the right of the T-65s as a bit of cover, and maybe try and get a torp off this next turn with maybe a 3-bank boost, and then a proton torp. And we'll see. What do you think Sandram's going to do with this swarm? Do you think he'll turn towards Luke, or do you think he'll try and corner Dash?
So if I were him, I would say that Luke may represent a bigger threat, Because Luke is the one now planning the position to, to flank his formation. Dash's plan is pretty straightforward. He's gonna keep the ribbon firing arc to the sides and go all around the asteroids, I assume. Obviously trying to avoid the range 1 engagement. That's fairly obvious, I would say.
Yes,
so,
absolutely. 100%, yeah.
Yeah, I would try to go to Luke.
Okay, so he's banking in, which means he's actually going after Dash by the looks of it. Trying to, because Dash, I imagine Pierre here is going to go straight. He might have banked in, but knowing Pierre, he might have expected that and gone for the straight safe, knowing that he could then barrel roll if he did turn in towards Luke. So he should be at range 3 for some attacks here. Luke, I expect to do a 3 bank. He could do a 3 hard, but I expect him to do a 3 bank.
Yep.
Do you think Sandrum is going to split his T-65s up, or will he keep them in a block like this and basically fly it as one ship with 4 guns?
I think splitting could be very challenging, because how does he split his formation and contemporary avoid the rocks? Because he kind of funneled himself in between that asteroid and the debris field. So maybe the next turn, keeping the foils closed, he could start chasing Luke.
Because I think when it's great to fly in a block like this when you catch a ship in Ogg, but when you've only got 2 ships, that's quite hard to do. So sometimes you need to spread your arcs out a little bit and get almost like a 180 degree, like 2 ships facing 90 degrees one way, 2 ships 90 degrees the other way. So at least you've got 2 or 3 ships shooting at something, but maybe not all of them. But have a wider arc then, instead of it all being in the same kind of direction. Let's see. So Hef is done the 90 degree.
He's trying a pincer maneuver. Good on you, Sandrum.
I don't think Luke will be too scared of that, though.
Did he also move a...
Okay, so he did a bank. I'm sure he'll barrel roll out here now, so he's only at range 3 of 1 ship. And there goes the cannon, the outrider trigger to remove the stress.
There we go.
And this is barrel rolling. And he's not bothered about that stress next turn because he can still do a white move and remove the stress with Kanan. So he has a fully open dial next turn still. Dash does dash things. With Luke's force as focus modifiers. Ooh, 3 ships shooting at him. Okay. This could be some damage coming into Dash this turn. He'll have really wanted only 1 ship, the blue ship, to be at range 3 there.
Yep. Sorry for the silence. I'm still fiddling a bit with the audio settings.
No problem.
Because I figured out what happened. Okay. I got 2 audio sources inverted. Okay. Ooh la la. Ooh la la. We got 3 hits on a 4 dice roll.
Yeah. Very nice. He'll get 3 dice back. I think it's all unobstructed. Because I think he's the... No, I don't think the asteroid is quite obstructing his shots. Oh, if only he had heroic. That's nasty.
And then we have a Luke range 3 shot on Heftober.
So this will be a proton top, so it'll only be Won't get the range bonus. And there we go, the 4 with the force modifier.
Okay, now the audio levels should be fine.
Right, and then have takes a crit. What crit is that?
Oh, I'm a dummy. I have not updated anything yet. Viewers.
Wounded.
Yeah.
Wounded pilots. Okay.
So perhaps ended up in a shit fight. There we go. Wounded pilot.
Okay, so
while green has no shields and 1 damage.
Yeah, so he's got half points on an X-Wing already.
Yes, currently the situation is 43 points for Pierre versus 0 points for Alexander. So he has...
That could change very quickly.
Yeah, yeah. He has half the U-Wing and half an X-Wing, I think. Yep. Yes, that could change very quickly, but I don't know if I can say if he manages to Alpha Strike kill something, but...
No, but if he can manage to do a couple of shields off Dash this turn with these range 3 shots, Dash is in quite a difficult position.
Because, like, recently I have not... Oh, there we go, 3 hits, 2 evades, 1 reroll with the charge for Lone Wolf. There we go. Completely evaded. Good on you, Pierre.
Nicely done.
Recently I have been avoiding playing large base ships, because given the high amount of hull they generally have, I feel it's a huge liability with the amount of swarms and the sheer amount of, you know, basic pilot swarms going around. The more hull you have, the more you're subject to nasty crits that can literally ruin your game plan in 1 shot. So I do enjoy Pierre's and also Alexander's confidence in bringing a large and a medium base ship. What worries me a tiny bit is that the points invested in Heftobber might, I don't want to say might be worthless, but he might not manage to repay in terms of value for the points spent on him.
Maybe, but you know, it's actually quite surprising that you can fit 4 X-Wing and a U-Wing in a single list when you think about it. That's a lot of hull to chew through.
Like, Le Chancelier was correctly pointing out something that I completely missed. The fact that not only the U-Wing is in a really threatening position confronting the Luke Skywalker X-Wing, he could also act both as a bait and as a blocker, so the 4 X-Wing can have a chance at putting multiple shots into Luke.
So Luke has to be careful next turn for sure. Hef is stressed though, so he can't stop, we know that for sure. So he has to move at least a 1 bank forward. I don't know if the 3 bank from Luke will get past Hef after he does the 1 bank.
I don't know why, I can't hear you more. Okay, volume was off.
It's close. I don't think it'll work. So it's going to be interesting to see what Luke does here. And of course Dash as well, he's in that 50-50 choice now. Does he hard turn in expecting the X-Wings to go after Luke? Or does he simply do a 1 straight and hope that the X-Wings don't do a 4 forward and get him all at range 1? This is
yeah, I think it's a
position for Dash.
Crucial turn for Dash, because he has to decide where to commit.
Yeah. And this is why I say in this matchup, it's a 50-50. If Pierre gets this wrong, it's game over. If he gets it right, he's got a very good chance of winning.
Ooh,
so this next turn is actually crucial.
I like mind games.
This is why we love X-Wing, right? It's all about battles.
Yep. So let me see if I can give a better perspective. There we go, to the viewers. Should be a tiny bit better.
So if you think about the T65s now, he might try and move Hef in for the one bank to block Luke, and then maybe hard turn or even talon roll with some of those X-Wings to take Luke out, if he thinks that's possible.
I think that's a very likely to happen, yeah.
Or he might just pretend he's going for Luke and actually trigger down on Dash now, because Dash is in a very awkward position.
I think the first option is very likely to happen. Possibly I'm leaning way too much towards the Occam's razor solution, or just do the most simple thing, but that's what I would do. Because that's kind of what Alexander wants to, he wants to block with Hef, because I literally can't remember Hef's ability. I'm gonna look it up now. After an enemy ship executes a maneuver, if it's range 0, you may perform an action. Yes. He wants to use Hef, Intimidation, and Zeb at the same time.
Yeah, to shoot Luke at range 0, yeah, for sure.
I mean, if he doesn't, he's basically trading. If he fails this block, he's trading Hef for something. So what is worth more points? Luke Skywalker or Dash? Dash is worth more points.
Oh, Dash is way more points, yeah.
But I think Luke is much more dangerous in the late game. Like, he has an insane ability for the late game.
I would disagree with that, actually. I would say Dash is pretty lethal in the late game too, because of his reposition, higher initiative. There'll be less ships on the board. He's got Lone Wolf plus Force as well, and he's throwing those 4 dice out. Dash can actually win this game by himself, even if Luke dies this next turn.
Like, as I said, this match could have seen like a tiny bit of a bread and butter matchup, Rebels against Rebels, but I think it's a really interesting match. I feel it's one of those games where the result is on the edge every turn.
Every turn, yeah.
Yeah, every turn it could go one.
This turn and probably the next turn are critical for the game, and then after that I think we'll see a clear outcome of what's going to happen. I wouldn't be surprised to see Dash just do a 1 and be vicious, because he can still barrel roll away and still hard turn in the next turn. And Luke is in a tricky position. He might opt to do a 3 bank left towards the board edge, just to escape Hef, just to make sure he doesn't get bumped. And then maybe afterburners to give him better options next turn, or even just a simple boost next turn, because he can boost with his foils closed as well.
The problem with afterburners is that he definitely needs to do a speed 3 to 5 maneuver. Makes more sense.
Oh, who needs modifiers? This is Dash shooting, right? Somebody, I'm not sure who he's shooting at. I missed that.
Oh, we have a problem. It was Luke shooting Hef, because Zeb says that enemy ships at range 0 can perform primary attacks. So I think Hef is almost dead.
Oh, yes, you can shoot both ways. Okay, cool. I think it used to be you could shoot but the enemy couldn't, or...
Yeah, in first edition it was like that.
Yeah.
So, Dash manages to put 2 damage into yellow, cancelling 2 shields.
Now let's see what damage you can pull back.
Well, it's interesting to see that Hef has another turn to live.
Yeah.
Okay, target lock. Definitely target lock. Meh.
I think Luke is quite okay with that.
Focus, okay. So he had the target lock from earlier and then he got a focus now. So that's 3 hits, 2 shields gone on Luke, and 1 damage. Did he just halve Luke? Yes. Speaking of trade-offs...
Did he do the action maybe to repair wounded pilots and he forgot to flip the card maybe?
No, he didn't.
Or maybe he just chose not to do the action,
Yeah.
so he didn't get a stress.
Exactly.
That could be also, yeah. But then wouldn't you rather just flip the card? It's an action.
So in this moment, Alexander traded, let's say, the full half, because I don't expect him to survive next turn, for half Luke. Is that bad? Not necessarily, as value in points is comparable.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so he spends his lone wolf found force there to avoid that shot. So got a couple more coming in.
I would say that that was pretty convenient.
Oh,
Ooh,
nice.
rough. Rough.
And no modifiers left, so that's 2. At least no crit coming through, which is better. So is that now half on dash as well, I think.
Yeah, that was rough, as it gets half dash, flipping again the situation. Now Alexander is leading by 55 points since he has destroyed 98.
Oh, that's unlucky.
That's 1 damage passing through.
Okay. So Dash is still, because Sundram left his X-Wing fairly spread apart, Dash still has a big problem this next turn.
Yep.
He can easily be blocked again and have some range one-shots coming in at him. Also, Hef is quite capable of doing a 2-turn and going after Dash as well.
That bump was quite unfortunate, not only because of the mutual ranged 0 attacks, but mostly because now Luke has to do a fast maneuver that is possibly not a Talon roll or a choreogram, because he needs to get distance from Dash, so Dash can keep using Lone Wolf.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if Luke did a 4K here just to get that final kill shot off on Hef. I don't think Hef could avoid being shot at by Luke if he did a 4K, or even a Talon roll from Luke could also work. So I think Hef has got a good chance of being initiative killed. He's only got 1 hull left, right? Or is
Yep,
it 2?
1 hull confirmed.
1 hull. Okay, yep. So Hef should be killed by Luke this next turn. Dice going to plan. But Dash is in a tricky situation here.
Like, maybe the best way to avoid getting too many shots would be to, how do you say, intentionally bump the X-Wings. Or divert to his right.
Yeah, so I see he's got basically two options. He can hard 3 to the right and try and escape any blocks. Or he could potentially just try and go fast and try and do like a 4 straight, or even maybe a 3 bank left could work. But then you've always got the risk of getting too close to Hef then, if Hef does do the too hard. But Pierre often does things you don't expect, because he's been playing Dash so long. He often does things which you don't expect, and it works out somehow.
Yeah, I envy his ability. So, let's see what he does. And yes, Gary, repainting your ships on TTS provides much more paint on your dice. It's scientifically proven.
Maybe that's why I keep losing all my games then.
Yeah, I'm using, all the lockdown time, the time of work to repaint all my actual physical ships. So maybe from time to time I'll manage to win a game or actually win something. My win rate in second edition is unbelievably awful.
I've been doing quite well in person, but tabletop TS I've not been doing very well at all, I have to say.
Currently, do you have chances to play? I mean, besides privately at home that I manage is doable. I think is doable.
So up until 2 weeks ago, we had pretty open policy, so we could go to the store and play. So we've been doing a lot of in-person play, which has been really good for maybe about 3 months. We could play in person, which was great. But now, these last couple of weeks we've been in a hard lockdown again, so we can't really. Yeah.
Damn it. Yeah, I hope that eases really soon. Speaking of in-person play, we have decided to replicate the experience we had last year and organize a large-ish tournament in early September. Obviously, with all due, precautions and measures to avoid any type of contagion, so mandatory masks and sanitation devices and all the yada yada. We all know how that works currently. And we also managed to set up some conventions for traveling players, so I'm just gonna quickly repeat the invitation I did last night. If you are starving for competitive play and you want to attend an event in full safety, maybe while planning a nice, maybe end of vacations trip to Italy with the whole family, please attend Maniacs Week. You can find all details on maniacsweek.it. We have dubbed the tournament the Europa Cup. So if you want to come and get the European champion title from the hands of an Italian player, please feel free to do so. We had some doubts about calling it the Europa Cup or European Championship or something along those lines, and then we said, you know what, nobody can stop us.
Fair enough.
Who's gonna stop me? At one point I was gonna go like, should we call it World Championship 2021. But then we said, nah, okay, like traveling is already pretty tough. I don't want to make anybody feel bad.
I think that's been one great thing about having the XTC on TTS this year, is that teams like South Africa are actually able to join.
Yes.
I'm sure it's the same for the likes of Peru and New Zealand as well, where they're so far away from Europe that traveling is just generally not an option. And it's not because we're not willing to, it's trying to get a whole team of 7 or 8 people
Yes, it's
to
very
travel
difficult.
that far is really, really hard.
You know, also deciding the number of components for a team, it's a very tricky discussion. Like, TTS, easy peasy, 7 people. Like, with these methodologies for play, it's easy to have 7 people on board. But with live play, sometimes it's hard even to have 4, 5. So I do echo your sentiment. Is TTS has been a great outlet for XTC.
Absolutely. Oh, well, it's been a great outlet for X-Wing play full stop during the COVID times, right?
Yep. If it wasn't for all the efforts put in by, GSP, Exiled, the Firecast, and all the other organizers, I honestly believe X-Wing would not be here.
So there we see the red do the barrel roll there to block the 3 hard from Dash. And he did the 3 hard and got the block.
Yep.
That was great. That was a great barrel roller. Well planned.
A well placed one. Yep.
Yep.
Maybe Dash still manages.
Dash is in real risk now.
Yeah, he's in real risk. Maybe he still will manage to get a shot on the green one. Like, from my perspective, he might be able to do that.
His turrets are at the side though, so I don't think he'll get a shot on green. Maybe yellow.
Oh, yellow, definitely. Yeah, and yellow is already shieldless, so yeah, makes sense. If dice collaborate, he could manage to remove 1 source of damage before it shoots. So
yeah, so here's Luke trying to finish off Hef. I'm actually.
Yep.
Oh, that's a great roll. I'm actually a bit surprised here. Pierre didn't try and take off an extra damage off yellow so that Dash could potentially initiative kill yellow to stop the shot coming back. But I understand why you went for Hef there.
I think
it's not
makes
a bad decision.
Yeah, I think it makes easier the following turn.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I think Hef would have just turned 90 degrees again to have an open arc somewhere.
Yeah, but you see now yellow's at range 1, so he's only got 3 dice against yellow instead of his normal 4. So he cannot initiative kill yellow here. Well, unless he gets some lucky crits.
Double damage, yeah. Okay. Okay. Well. I'm not gonna say you hold it, but.
Oh, there you go. Debate. So he's hoping for a weapons failure here, I think.
You are allowed to cheer on weapons failure, just in case. And he gets a, let me have a look, damaged engine.
Yeah, not the crit he was looking for.
So, Hef leaves the table.
Alright, so we do have unmodified shots coming through now, which are always risky, and Dash does still have Force and Lone Wolf for defense dice, but he does only have 3 hull with 8 dice coming his way.
Statistics, my worst enemy. Okay, blue has a range 1 shot. That's so many dice. Let me check time on the clock. They still have about half an hour to play, so banking in points seems quite unlikely.
There's a force, takes 1 damage there. And he's hoping to only take 1 damage from each ship here. On average dice, I think he'll expect to take 1 damage from each ship shooting, so he should survive. Oh, it dashes a range 2 here. Oh, that's good. I expected that to be range 1. And I am biased, yes.
Okay.
Oh, that's great. Okay.
That's convenient.
Yeah, so that's always the risk with unmodified shots, right? You can quite easily blank out or get lots of focus and they mean nothing.
Yeah.
So Dash is now quite happy. He's got like the full field ahead of him, so he can now escape and find a better position.
Pierre.
Yellow can't hard turn. He is stressed with damaged engine, so he can't turn towards Luke unless he does a 1 bank barrel roll, which
is not.
Yeah,
it's definitely definitely suboptimal.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing.
So let's see if Dash can start picking off X-wings that are damaged now from range, and see if that's the game plan from now.
Yeah,
Green's obviously out the game for a couple of turns, I guess.
So at the moment, the points difference is 13 points, so it's a very thin margin.
To the rebels? Which rebels?
Damn it! They bamboozled us! They bamboozled us. No, Pierre is currently... Alexander is currently leading. And I'll take a chance to say, hey, ciao Charlie, ciao Snake Eyes. I think Snake Eyes is one of your players, correctly?
Who, sorry?
Snake Eyes.
Snake Eyes, that's Carl, yes.
Yeah. And then there's Arnie
he's,
as
one
well.
of our subs. Arnie's, he's our local streamer.
Yep.
He's not actually playing in our team, but he's been streaming a lot of games.
Yeah. He put a major effort to cover your games. And I think
yes.
we also commentated together a few games. Definitely one of your early games in round 1 or 2.
Okay. Arnie's one of the friendliest players you'll ever meet. So he's one of those players you love to play against because it's so much fun whenever you play against him.
We interacted a bit, in the Streamers channel, and he's been an absolute joy to work with. So thank you again for putting your time, at service of both the teams and the XTC in general. I gotta say from behind the scenes that in the beginning we were like, oh yeah, we'll contact some streamers and have some stream games and this and that. I'm talking about me and Bartosz. And then we did not expect to have 35 to 40 streamers actually willing to dedicate their time to the XTC. So we're like, okay.
Do you actually have any stats on how many games have been streamed compared to not streamed?
I do not, but I can fish.
It'd be interesting to find out.
I can fish them
I'm pretty
tomorrow.
sure our team has had at least half the game streamed every single week. At least half. But I know most of that's Arnie. But I'm sure every team has got their own streamer as well, pretty much. So I would say, I would be surprised if it's less than half the games have not been streamed.
I would say that maybe half of the games of the XTC have definitely been streamed. Some teams have more, some teams have less. Say, in Italy we've been lucky enough because 3 streamers managed, to collaborate to schedule the times and have all 7 games covered as much as possible. Same went for Ireland and England, the US, Germany, Spain. Spain has a lot of streamers. France, definitely. So I'm confidently saying that half of the XTC games have been streamed.
And that must be 150, 200 games maybe?
Yeah, it's
real.
38 teams. And there's 2 teams on a break every week. So 36 divided by 2. It's 18 by 7. Calculator, where are you? 18
About
by
120.
times 7, 126 games every week. So yeah, I would definitely say that about 50 games have been streamed every week.
Amazing, amazing.
I would say that's a good result.
That's yeah, it's beyond expectations, I'm sure. Okay, so looking at the match again, so Dash needs to do some kind of turn or bank maneuver. So he's got arc, unless he just does a forward, sorry, and reverses his arc. That's also an option. But then he's likely getting shots.
What's his fastest maneuver? 5 straight, right?
4 forward, I think.
4 forward.
Yeah. I can see Luke just doing a cheeky 1 bank or a 1 forward here, and taking the lock and taking a proton top.
Yeah, get rid of the stress, take a target lock, shoot that damn pro hits.
Exactly.
Just received a Steam achievement about... Steam, why are you bugging me with this stuff? I don't care. Curiously enough, yellow goes slow, so he's potentially not gonna be the blocker, but he's gonna be starting up the potential kill box for Dash.
Yeah, but if Luke does a 1 bank here, he could proton top and take him off the table fairly easily. It's all about Dash's move. I think that's the interesting one. What does Dash do here? What are they pinging him?
Unless Dash tries to disengage, re-engage, say 3 bank to the left, then
yeah, it's kind of a 3 bank to the left or a 4 straight is what I'm expecting from Dash. He needs to get distance for sure, but he also needs to shoot. He can't not shoot. So,
does he have means to rotate the turret without wasting an action? I don't.
No, it will be his action, but he still has Lone Wolf and the Force to modify dice.
There goes Luke first, I think. I'm seeing the red hand hovering on the dial.
Looks like they're talking about something. I'm not sure why dials are not being flipped. Is there an action still to be done?
Maybe they're doing the... no, I'm wondering what you're doing. Maybe you'll end up here, I'll end up there. Or maybe they're fighting to death over some game argument. I don't know. Who knows?
Oh, it looks like... Did Luke not have his dial set to now?
Oh! So
now it's an issue or what? Because if you look at it, Luke's dial looks like it's not been set. Need a judge call. Do you want to jump in there and just help him out?
Yep, I need to deactivate the audio 1 second. I'll jump in and...
Great. So at least he gets to remove his stress and take an action. Okay.
Yep. So unfortunately, what happened is that while setting the maneuvers, he set and then unset the maneuver, because we
Okay.
can see that in the chat. And so, unfortunately for Pierre, the proper call is performing a stress maneuver. That is the new name for the 2 straight.
Is it a blue straight or a white straight?
It's a white, so he doesn't get rid of the stress.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Like by the latest rules reference amendments that we did not apply for the XTC since they dropped after round 1 or round 2, I think.
Oh, wow.
He would have added also another stress token, but that's not the case. Ooh.
Yeah. So as I was saying, it's not obviously not what he wanted to do, but it's not the worst result in the world because he's still getting shots off. He's not put himself at range 1 of red. So it could have been a lot worse, actually.
Yeah, luckily, like, it wasn't too punitive, especially because it was a honest mistake. Also, I should double check my timer, because there we go. They should have 21 minutes to play. Yep.
Okay. I'm not sure what's happening here. He's shooting 2 dice.
So that
Did Dash shoot?
Dash.
Did Dash shoot and I missed it? Dash rolled.
Dash rolled 4, but unfortunately he blanked out. Re-rolled with.
But did Dash not shoot? Oh, I've disconnected. Did you also disconnect?
Yep, I also disconnected. I'll switch 1 second to the temporary interface. It also happened before they had a tiny connection issue. It may happen. So we'll just fill some air in the meantime. So, as far as we've seen, Dash has left the field, I think, because he sucked up 2 damage. Let's see if the room is back. Okay, they just recreated the room, so I'm gonna join. Again, they had a internet connection hiccup. It happens. Thankfully, they were hosting, therefore they saved the game state. Ta-da!
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. And soon the match is gonna be online again.
Okay, I'll save it now.
I would like to say thank you, Flipster, for integrating the autosave, so nothing has been compromised. And there we go, back to the game. So what's happening now, as per the usual procedure, is that they are just replaying the last turn. I still have not restarted the timer. Restart accordingly. That's 22 minutes. Start, stop. Okay. So Dash gets his 2 damage from yellow, I think. Red
So that's Dash.
Shield. And red shoots on Luke.
Did Dash actually shoot yet? I missed his shot if he shot.
I think Dash did not shoot because he didn't have anybody in range.
But was it? Oh, yellow shot him. I thought green shot him. Okay, it was yellow shot him.
Yep,
okay.
yep.
Gotcha.
That's 2 more damage on Luke.
So Luke is down to 1 hull now. Yo. Yeah, now Pierre's in trouble. Yeah, so I think ideally he would have probably done a 1 bank there and fired the top into yellow to try and take yellow off the table. Then yellow wouldn't have been able to put that damage into Dash. But obviously the dial hiccup there has really hurt him.
Yeah, it compromised the late game.
Happens.
I don't know how much it would have changed the final result of the game. Barely on 2 factors. Factor A being 20 minutes on the clock. Factor B being 3 X-Wing and a half on the board. Like, I don't want to be a party pooper. Don't get me wrong. But 3 X-Wings and a half are tough to mow down. With 2 ships and a few hulls.
Sure.
But I mean,
if anyone can do it, Dash can do it. But you're right. I mean, like the X-Wings will still get shots at Dash, and he did only have 2 hull left.
The problem is that Dash defends with 2 to 3 dice, 4 if he manages to get a rock in the flying path, but the X-Wings still shoot a minimum of 3 dice each. So given the result distribution on dice itself, statistics were not on Dash's side.
Yeah, I think the initial that 50-50 choice that Dash had when he was on the debris field in the corner there, where he got blocked, that initial one, that's where Dash kind of got struck. I think Sandram, is it Alexandra, is it?
Alexander, yep.
Alexander, yeah. I think he made some brilliant moves with his X-Wing there to really spread his arcs wide and really put Dash in a lot of trouble. I think that was an excellent play. And I think that's the turn that he won the game.
Oh, yeah. So I think, I don't know if it's Dima. I do have some issues with Cyrillic. I literally can't read it. But anyways, a player from Ukraine was pointing out that obviously Dash could not shoot as he was on a rock.
No, Dash can shoot when he's on the rock.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Yeah.
So it's an X-Wing galore. We have red doing a Talon roll, blue doing a 2-turn to the left, and I'm assuming yellow is gonna do nothing because he already moved. Yep.
So Dash can shoot when he's on rocks, eh? If that's what the player was saying.
Yep.
I'm not sure. Yeah. All right, so he's going for a Hail Mary here.
That's what you
taking the lock onto green. Yeah. Hope for dice variance to save the day. Take that proton top into green, take green off the table, and hope you survive.
Scream loud, Pierre, scream loud. Yell at those dice.
There we go. There's the 4 hits with a crit, or 3 hits crit.
That's
Green. That's a dead green. Oh, is it a focus? Okay, okay. So still has a chance.
Pray for double damage. Stun pilot.
Okay. But this should be Luke dead with 2 range 1 shots and 2 range 3 shots. It's unlikely he's going to survive this. He does only have 2 green dice.
But I think that if he believes in the heart of his dice, he's gonna make it. Pierre, you have.
If he tries really hard.
Yes, try really hard. Please do your best. I'm not rooting against Alexander, but I always like the underdog maneuver and.
And this is a range 1 modified with a focus, I believe. So this alone should kill Luke. And there's Luke dead. Good game. Well played.
That was a very efficient shot from Alexander. Jeez.
Doesn't matter how many 2 dice you roll. You can roll as many times as you want. Luke is still off the table.
So, our games end here with a unfortunate defeat for Team South Africa. What's the partial score up to now? Was this first game?
No, so we played 4 games tonight.
Okay.
I played earlier and lost. Pierre's obviously just lost. Last time I checked, Brandon and Charlie were both up in their game. So I think it might be 2-2, but I'm not sure on the final results of the between Brandon and his opponent and Charlie and his opponent. I'm not sure.
I mean, if it was
I'll have to check.
If it was 2-2, that would be fantastic, as it means that every remaining game has a lot of value and the